I mean, okay, I get it. It's been some inconsistencies going on, but we gonna get all into that. So grab you a drink, get comfy, and let's go ahead and get on into this. What is good, my babes? What's up? What is going on? If you are new here, welcome to my channel. I am your girl Ash, and this is Ashland, where everything you get is on what's happening in the land of Ash. But to my oldies but goodies, you already know what to do. Come on, step up on in the room, and let's go ahead and get into a chit chat, catching up with me. Basically, I have been wanting to do this video, I feel like, pretty much since the kids have came back home from the summer. I feel like it was just a lot of things that have been just transpiring, just as well, just keeping and wanting to let y'all know what was going on in between when I wasn't vlogging to vlogging, and yeah, as well, just maybe things that I might not have mentioned in the vlogs, because I know I be trying to keep them very short. I ain't gonna say very short. I be trying to keep them somewhat short. And I know I do a lot of talking. So when I'm doing the vlogs, it's trying to stay in the moment, whatever it is that's going on in that moment. But I knew it was a moment where I wanted to actually come and sit. Because I know, y'all know as well, the girl can get real long-winded sometimes. So we're gonna try not to make this video much too long. But where do we even like start? Like, y'all, I'm honestly like not even sure like where to like even jump in, get in. I think y'all know that obviously Journey is enrolled in pre-K. She is in preschool, so I have 3 school-age children, and she does go off of the same schedule that the kids go off of. Basically, they go off the same county school schedule, so it works out perfectly. The days that the kids are out of school, she's out of school, the holiday time off, all of that is the same. I probably say the biggest hiccup that I was dealing with was with her is there isn't like transportation. I do have to take her and bring her back. So it was almost just like basically I'm getting daycare except for free. Like basically Journey was in the pre-K program at her previous daycare. So nothing's really new for her outside of just new environment, new people, new friends. So I do feel like a little bit she is still getting adjusted to that. It was crazy though, because it was like everybody seemed to like her though. Like everybody knew her name. Like everybody's always hi Journey, bye Journey when I would go and pick her up, and I'd be like, what's your friend's names? I don't know. But I do feel like I could have did better with that transitioning from the old school to the new school. We had talked about it, but I do feel like very well possibly a visit with them and really just kind of getting that full goodbye. I keep saying that I'm going to take her by there even now, but the time just hasn't been there, which as well leads to I wrote notes down, but I kind of like wanted to like somewhat offload at the same time. So it's also just to say that with getting Journey in preschool, I definitely thought like this was definitely going to be a working like basically it was going to work around for me, because I was going to end up saving money, putting money back in my pocket, because I wasn't putting money out of pocket. And at best I knew that okay, yeah, like I knew it was a possibility that it could be, I might have to change my schedule, but I honestly wasn't thinking to that extent. I was low-key thinking that she might still be going to the same school with Yo-Yo, and yeah, no. It was just completely none of that, and which ultimately I ended up having to push my work schedule back, and ultimately, y'all, that just was not it was not fitting for the business need. I'll say that. My manager definitely was willing to work with me, but ultimately, like, it was not. And I basically, as a way to, you know, when I went in, I knew, I was just like, okay, like, yes, they're doing something for me, but I need to make it seem like I'm doing something for them too. So upon that, when I went asking for this shift change, that was where I was coming from. Like, okay, yes, this does work best for me and my family dynamic, but this is as well how this can, you know, help as far as the business aspect and the job. So that had been working, but as well, y'all, I had just been, okay, very well, we could very well deem it about money. We'll even just definitely just start there. Just money. Really, I had sat down with my sister and we had just really just kind of like written out all my bills, you know, trying like in somewhat of a way, trying to have, you know, basically trying to figure out like what I had left over once I paid all my bills and what I, you know, what kind of, what play money I had to be messing around with. Basically, y'all, I had none. I had no play money. I was technically in the negative, and that really was what really started to put fire under me. Like, okay, let's go and like work with me, follow me, follow me. Let me slow down because I think it's what it is. I'm getting excited and I don't want to be too long, but if I slow down, I can get out what I need to say. So with that said, I immediately just went into like, all right, I'm definitely okay with it. You know, I want to stay with the company. You know, I'm not going to look elsewhere, but let me just continue to see where I can go within the company to grow and to make more money. We had a change where my manager ended up they ended up taking her from us, putting her at another location, which put my assistant manager. She did end up getting the role as the manager, but now we need an assistant manager. A lot of people wanted to go for that, but it was one person in particular that I was like, all right, boom, if she goes for this, boom, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going for her position, and like, boom, that's it. Like, there's no reason like I'm not gonna be able to get it, like, boom, boom, boom. But she didn't end up getting it, and she did not end up getting it. So I was like, all right, well, ultimately my goal, once I realized like it could be a thing, like if nothing else, y'all, like I love fashion, I love clothes, but I think as well, like my own lifestyle, like what I've been through, like, or not even necessarily what I've been through, just not being able to afford, I think I would just look at myself as, who am I? Like who says that I'm good at this? That I would be like, yeah, like people, the signs are always there. Maybe not necessarily like in my style might not have been outrageously different or whatever, but people always got compliments on how I looked. People would always ask me advice when it would come to like going out and finding things to wear, and always ask for advice, or shoot me loan out my clothes or like my shoes. So I would just say that there definitely was some form of a style sense that's always went with me, but I let other factors and what I saw from other people tell me that I basically, you know, couldn't be that. But I was like, you know what? No, like we're gonna shoot for it. We're gonna shoot for our stars. Like, I want to be a personal stylist within Nordstrom. Boom. Like, what do we need to do to get there? And that's basically how we ended up here now, which is, y'all, just I've been in this role 2 weeks now. 2 weeks, right? Monday will technically a week. Monday to this Monday. Yeah, we're going on 2 weeks technically. We're going on 2 weeks that I've been that I've started in my new role. So obviously we did get it, but it was definitely a lot of anxiety around that, just around money. It was a lot of anxiety around the schedule and how would that look, because with me, my job is nowhere from here. Like when I say it's nowhere from here, it's nowhere from here. Journey's daycare is nowhere from here. But also, this is a very high traffic area. So a 10-minute trip can be a 30-minute trip generally just because of the traffic. So on my hour breaks, I literally had just enough time to go pick up Journey from school, drop her off back at home, which was around, which literally basically me, Jada's bus would be getting here, and I would be getting here around the same time, just for her to stay in the house with Journey, and then I would get off to work. So now imagine that. Now when I'm now actually 30 minutes away from my job instead of 7 to 10. Y'all. Y'all. One, I was so excited. One, I was definitely so excited about it. It was, I want to say, it was definitely like I was ready. I wanted some, granted, money was definitely the push, but I was so ready. Like doing logistics and processing, like it's so easy. It's so like, it's not challenging. Like it really wasn't doing anything for me still in the sense at the same time. So even if it wasn't going to be sales, it was going to be something else. I knew that I wasn't going to be there long because like it wasn't challenging. It's fun. It's interesting. I love being the first look. That is the only thing that would be keeping me, is I'm the first person just to see this, and I get the opportunity to go ahead and grab this up. Maybe that's not technically in policy how it's supposed to be, but that's how it was. So, knowing that I was just ready to be challenged, I was ready to be uncomfortable, I was ready to just try something new, I'm ready to be out of my comfort zones, was how I knew. It was just like, you know what, yeah. And then as well, you know, kind of as well, when I did get the position and I was talking to my manager about it, like as far as whether I was going to accept it fully or not, because again, I'm in my head on how it's going to work money-wise, because we talk about sales, so we talk about minimum wage and commission. So, you know, at the same time, she's definitely speaking, you know, into me, and as well, like saying, you know, one, I wouldn't even okay this, you know, okay you moving here if I did not think that you could do such great things in this position. And she's like, and as well, not to give you the boot, but yeah, they're on me about y'all times, about, you know, the sporadic schedules, and I really need majority of my team here at this time. I don't need one person here, then y'all kind of like slowly, you know, coming in, kind of like low-key back-to-back behind each other. So it definitely was confirmation that, okay, like this is where we're supposed to be going. And as well, like I do want to say, like there on the last video, and I was talking about that I had left my phone. And so if you haven't seen it, you need to go back and look at it. It was a Sunday morning. I was going out to get like breakfast, but I realized I had left my phone. I wanted to go over my Bible app. I was talking about having quiet time. And y'all, like, I didn't talk about it then, but it was like that for a reason. I realized that just in that moment, the conversation that I had with God, basically it was in that moment that God had gave me the confirmation I did need to go ahead and apply for the sales position at Nordstrom, at the full line store. So I also just want to say, you know, that I just go back a little bit, that I've definitely been doing my best to maintain my relationship, you know, with God, praying with, you know, starting out my day with him in the morning, talking to him, you know, throughout, you know, my day, writing things down, making it plain. I finally wrote it down and made it plain. You know, just making him just continuing to just making sure that I'm striving to make him a part of my every life, and asking him to order my steps and to direct me in the direction that he wanted me to go. So that's why as well, even though it was so like anxiety striction, I didn't know and I didn't understand, the other part of me was just like, I know I didn't do this on my own accord. I can strongly feel like, you know, I made these moves because God told me to, and while I don't necessarily understand it, I know I just have to stick in it. But jumping the gun a little bit, so yeah, but basically just say, but I'm basically saying all that to say like after talking with my manager and then her just saying those things, it was just like, so basically things are literally just working out how they were supposed to. Because I will just say this, I got, like, when I had the interview, she gave it to me right then and there. But I was open and honest and letting them know, and basically inquired about basically having a split schedule, because at the end of the day, I still had to come back and get Journey. And so in the meantime, I did go on and still try to, what happened was before they left for Florida, and I unenrolled her from daycare, and I basically had to call my worker, because I get daycare assistance as well, and let her know that basically that I was ending things because they were going away for the summer. She had told me that basically if I didn't do nothing with the voucher within 30 or 60 days, that I was gonna basically have to go through the process again and have to reapply, something about funds. So there was gonna be a wait list. Y'all, it's just to say that even now, as I continue to think about this, things weren't supposed to be what they were supposed to be. Y'all, when I came back shortly after the kids coming back, I got a recertification letter for daycare. So if I technically had 30 to 60 days to continue to use my voucher, and I didn't, because again, they were in Florida for 3 solid months, the entire summer. Y'all know that. Then there shouldn't have been no recertification. It should have just been ended, and I should have been reapplying. So boom. Oh, it's recert time. I went on in and got my documents and made sure I sent everything in on time. Yes. I was like, even if in the moment, matter of fact, even I think when that came up with the daycare, I don't even think that, I had not even applied for the sales position at Nordstrom yet. I was just like, boom, like I was just putting this as I don't have to go to work later. I don't have to be there later. Like, that was just my frame of mind. And then I wasn't hearing anything, y'all. I did not hear anything. I was like, okay, maybe things are just backed up, because they're usually good at this. And for whatever reason, I never followed up. And that messed me up a little bit later. But either way, I never followed up with it. But either way, I proceeded with applying for the job. Like I said, she basically told me yes right then and there. But she wanted to basically follow up with her managers and her store manager about the whole split schedule sort of thing, and I would hear back from her within like 2 days. Yo, I didn't hear back for like 2 weeks possibly. I was just knew that at this point, like, and that's what I was after when talking with other managers about it and them knowing my circumstance, and they're like, kind of like, why would you be doing this? And I'm just, it wasn't for them to understand. It wasn't for them to get. And so without really getting all into God and my faith and, whatever, just to kind of like just make it simple, I said, because this is something that I want. And I'm a person who believes that if it works out, that means that everything's going to work out how it's supposed to. And that's just how I left it. So we get the yes, y'all. And so let's just jump on into it, y'all. Like, it's I got into it, y'all, and I was like, what in the world am I doing? Never been someone who wanted to be in sales. Then we talk about some commission. I am going on 40 years old with 3 kids. What the fuck am I doing getting a job that's commission based? Like, y'all, those first couple of days were so, I was all over the place. I was trying to figure out what I had done, why I had done it. It really, after really just talking to my sister, it just went into as well my relationship with money. And I realized that, and I get it, you start something new and, everybody's kind of like giving you the gist of it and whatever. And it's just to say that, granted, we were going to be having these conversations about, the commission. You know, your paychecks are going to be up, they're going to be down. It's not really going to be, you know, consistent. Oh, and you know, after the holidays, it's going to like this, it's going to look like that. But I think because of where my mindset was, I was just manifesting that more and more and more and more and more. And it just continued to put my mindset just in a more fearful and anxious place. Whereas if I had already kind of like had it in my mind, like, no matter what, money is not an issue, money is not a worry, you know. Granted, I might have basically took those things in differently, is basically what I'm saying. Because when I was hearing these things, like it no longer made me confident about my decision that I had made to take this, to move into this position. And I realized that it wasn't just me, you know, God, I needed to stand fast in my faith. What? I realized that it was also like I needed to recognize what my issue is. What my issue is with money. I needed to work on it, and obviously as well continue to go to the word for that confirmation in it. And when I am just feeling discouraged or confused or anxious or just worried about it, like, I continue to be okay. I'm gonna be okay. God is continuing to take care of me. And I think I was more seeing it as if I'm going backwards instead of going forwards, and I'm trying to progress to something. You know, I don't want to be in this apartment, you know, for, you know, another year. And, you know, this year, I was supposed to have at least my income should have went to this. And it was just so many things that was just taking me basically as well. I'm finding every reason, like, this why this not gonna work for me. Nope, this why this not gonna be it. Nope, this not gonna be that. And even now, just trying to get out of the mindset of, you got 6 months to ask, you got 6 months to ask, you got 6 months to actually. No, actually, like, don't look at it as you got 6 months to figure out, like, if this is good for you or not. You got, like, get to being an expert right now. Get to getting into it right now. I don't want to be counting down the time. I feel like if I'm counting down the time, then the moment I get there, I'm going to be like, it's like I'm going to be basically psyching myself out of it if I'm tracking down the time, basically, to basically figure out whether this is for me or not. Because I think in my mind, automatically, I'm trying to go for it's not for me. It's crazy, as I said here and said, I was ready to be uncomfortable. I was ready to be out of my comfort zones. And y'all, when I was faced with it, it was like, it was scary. It was emotional. It was, y'all, I obviously have had several, you know, handfuls of new jobs. And I think this had been the most uncomfortable, the most sad, the most, and I really couldn't really pinpoint to what it is. And I think I definitely felt like I had built such rapport with my team at Capital One. But I definitely have like that store. Maybe because at the end of the day, like, at Capital One, that was just a team. It was still so much more people. But it was like, that was my store. That was my team. Those were my people. I knew everybody that came in and out. Granted, even if you were new, I might not necessarily knew your name, or I did not think it was just y'all that I was gonna adjust that hard. That the adjustment was going to impact me like that. Gosh, like, even now, I get myself together. But yeah, y'all, I definitely think taking this job is definitely taking this job is challenging me. It's growing me in so many different ways. Actually, I do actually feel like financially, and my financial circumstances was getting me to do better with spending money and how I'm handling my money, for sure. Especially with the fact that, right, I'm not looking at something that's going to be consistent every 2 weeks. So how am I going to handle that? What am I going to do, right, when, boom, this was a great commission check this week, but hey, maybe this week, you know, it wasn't. You know, how am I going to get through that? How am I going to work through that? How am I going to balance that? And then just as well, just getting out of my comfort zone in itself and growing me, growing my skill sets. So I'm excited. I'm still excited. And just, I think when I just have those moments of where I'm resisting this, is I remind myself that, you know, that's not what's going to get me to the other side. It's only just going to prolong this process all in all. Crazy. At some point I might even put that somewhere, wrote it down, that, you know, I wanted to start being able to buy brand name and just like stuff like that, designer, and we're getting there. We just getting there. Oh yeah, y'all, Jada got her braces off. I'm just going ahead and just add that in, drop that in, because I did not end up doing I did not end up doing no short form content in regards to it. She has not even officially even let me like take a picture or whatever. So just know, if y'all do see an appointment, the next appointment is probably going to be like the follow-up now that she has her retainers and things, but the braces are off. I wanted to just go ahead and drop that in because there's no content about that. The last content y'all at least going to get was from the last video when we went for her, when we thought that we were going to be getting off, but they ended up saying something else. Then we went back to the third time, and they did end up, they look really good. They look so good, y'all. They look so good. Alright, y'all, so let's see what else, just getting back into things. But yeah, I think ultimately, even just looking at that, going back, and I think somehow I end up on my birthday vlog and listening how even just talking about money and my relationship with money and not preparing and just not saving, like, and even then, like, I'm not even doing new boards. Like, the board that I did mid-year is going to be the same board. The picture is kind of sticking up some, but I probably need to basically just do some re-edits on it over there, but it's gonna stay as is. I'm not gonna wait till next year to start just putting money to the side. Could I possibly have some type of more discipline with it? Possibly so, but I think right now it could very well just be sticking with $5, or boom, you know what, this check is all right, we can just put 10, like, just starting putting something, you know. I just got to do it, you know, my way. I feel like in the best of the way that I feel like, the best way that, you know, that I can get it going. And even like with that said, even with money, because at the end of the day, I am still, you know, trying to increase my income. Really talking to God and letting Him steer me and tell me where it is that He wants me to go with my content. You know, I can't lie. Definitely, if nothing else, YouTube has definitely been something I've definitely done the longest. I've definitely had my stints where, you know, I wasn't always consistent, but I'd be lying if I said, like, what is happening. Like, I mean, part of me is like, I enjoy it, so it's like I'm not gonna stop doing it. And so, but it also checks me, like, okay, Ashley, like, if you're saying to yourself, I'm doing this for nothing, are you only doing this for the money? Are you only doing this for the money? Because if that's the case, then, like, I think necessarily that's not it. I think it's just that my growth here on YouTube has been so stagnant for the longest. Like, it'll grow a couple two and then it'll drop, and it'll grow a couple two. I feel like I've been in this 450-ish range for so long, and I don't know if this is just where I really just have to buckle into it and maximize on all the features, not just doing the shorts, you know, doing more post content. You may be uploading more than, you know, getting to uploading once a week, and then as well possibly uploading maybe twice a week. Same thing, you know, with TikTok. I definitely say TikTok, I'd say I did grow there faster than I did here. But I think in the same thing, I think I do feel a ways more about YouTube than I do TikTok. I've definitely kind of like been in a stagnant place with TikTok, but as well, not as long. And I do, yeah, I think just overall, because I've been doing YouTube longer, it's just I just have that way. So it's just also like just buckling down on that, like regardless of what I think, like basically I need to get back into where I was, being the rebel about my content, like whether it's what's trending or what's not trending, posting what I want to post, doing what I want to do, and doing that on a consistent basis. Like we were supposed to have seen growth. We were supposed to be monetized by the end of this year, and December is like we're already getting into Christmas content, and Thanksgiving is next week. Like I can't lie, I really feel a way, but at the same time I feel like I have no choice but to put that on myself. I'm also doing this at a time where where everybody's trying to do this right now. Everybody's trying, wanting to do content, and then coming in being a vlogger and really not having another niche, that as well. So it's just challenges, and I'm just taking that as like stop playing, Ashley. Like stop playing. Let's talk to God. Let's get with our business partner. Let's figure out what it is that he trying to have you doing, so that we can get this going. But then as well, y'all, I'd be lying if I say, when I think about the verse, basically like, how can God trust you with big things if he cannot trust you with small things? And I definitely think about that when in regards to when it comes to my money. Not that I'm doing things outlandishly or I'm being completely just irresponsible, but it's also just like when I know this is what I just have left over till I get my next pay. Hold it. Okay, yes, you gotta do gas. Yeah, some things are just like, but don't literally deplete it just because you feel like you can go and you can ask, or you can just go and go puff, or whatever. Like, don't do that shit. Stop doing that shit. And then y'all, I think probably the last thing to really like talk about and like to really, I would like to catch y'all up on, because I definitely feel like my relationship or lack of, or what is or what isn't, has never really been like a topic of conversation on my channel. Y'all know a little bit of like a little bit of me and the Littles dad, but not very much. But I basically definitely went through a hard time with both of the kids' dads. Both of them were blocked at some point. I've only recently, and I do mean recently, like within like yesterday maybe, unblocked them both. With one of them, sometimes it's just respect, and if you don't know how to talk to me, like, you're not going to be able to talk to me. And with the other one, it's just our relationship, and we ended things. It like officially and finally ended things in a voice of basically giving me his blessing to be and see other people. Was that what I wanted? Like, no. Like, but it's also like at the same time we are having conversations that we were not having then. So it's also to say like, it's because that door with us has always been, and even now, like, I'm not even saying that now, like, oh, after saying, oh yeah, we're done, oh, I think the door is not closed. It's just to say, this is why you guys never really seen much. I never really talked. I never really put him on my channel, because our relationship has been so up and down. It bothers me even when we talk about how up and down it has been, and we talk about like, we probably don't need to, like, why we even talking about even still trying to do this. Like, it's crazy. But it's also that part of me is just like why is it that like it's like you know why, but at the same time, the part of me is just like, no. The part of me just feels like, I know it's something else. I know that we yes, we went through a lot. We went through a lot of stuff. But at the same time, in a 10 years, some odd plus time together, and we grew up and we learned so much about each other. And then it wasn't kind of like until like things hit the fan that now we're finally having the real conversations that we were supposed to have. Of course, like, is that not how it goes? But the other part of me is just like, yeah, like, okay, yep, this is how it's supposed to go. This is, yep, we are now having these conversations that now I think y'all, ultimately, this is just what I want to say about what I'm understanding about relationships, and kind of like being out in the dating world, and like, even though I haven't really been, so it's also like to say, like, I definitely want to show y'all something in the form of love in my life or whatever or whatnot. But I think I'm definitely understanding what I'm understanding now of the whole love being a choice thing, and you choosing a person, and understanding that, you don't get married because you're in love, because the fact of the matter is you're not always going to be in love. The love is going to fall out. You may fall back in, and you may fall back out, again. It's really a conscious choice to say, this is the person that I'm deciding that I want to spend life with. I'm not even putting marriage on. I'm just saying that I want to spend life with and do life with for the rest of my life, because regardless of the this and the this and the this, these are the things about us that says, yep, this is that person for me. This, like, so I've definitely as well have been going through some relationship transitions. I think a little bit difference of it is, no matter what this time is I'm fully open in dating. Like in the past, like, I was still just being respectful, not necessarily allowing people too close, or just like, it was just still some form of respect then, because I felt like words were being said, and even though sometimes the actions did not align, some of the actions that was still like him just still doing certain things for me or whatever or whatnot, I felt like, I couldn't bring another man in here, and I'm still allowing this man to do these things for me, and like, just so it was like, it's a lot of blurred lines, so I'm not really bringing out. It was still like that other person that may have been trying to come in, I was still holding them at bay to a degree because of this, and now there's no more at bays. What comes, and if you decide, because of now that of how I'm choosing to move and cut you off, that maybe that's not what you thought, or maybe you are having some realizations, like the actions have to show up, the actions have to show forth, something has to be different than what was shown before. And then all I can say is the timing is going to be okay, or the timing is going to be not, but I still have to hold myself to a certain degree and still not get sucked back in, because to a degree it is like you're just sucking me back in. This isn't anything new. You're just sucking me in. So regardless, I still have to maintain a form of boundaries for myself, and getting on with the keeping on, and because if you're not gonna be him, then we got to find the him, but at the same time, it's like also like I want y'all, I want that companionship, I want a relationship, I want that with someone so much, but it's also just like I'm just so like about just my own personal growth, my own personal brand, building myself and my bag and these kids, like elevating myself, elevating my career, and elevating my family, if that makes sense, and how we move as a family, you know, I want to be traveling so much more, you know, with them, you know, moving wise, you know, we deserve so much more space, so much more room, something so much more nicer. Yeah, that's just where my mind's at. So when I think that's just where I go to when I'm, you know, feeling lonely, or, you know, or envious of, you know, because of what I'm seeing on social media, or, you know, within my reality, things like that. We just focus on somewhere else. I think as well, the part of me is just like, it doesn't, because definitely doesn't feel good feeling like you're one of the last few, or like, you know, of your friend groups, you know, like majority of everybody is married, and you're always like the third, the fourth, the sixth wheel, and you know, and I think I have started to trick myself into believing like you're the last for a reason, girl. the Not I don't want to say it like this, like the envy, because I don't necessarily want it to be bad. I don't want to be envy, like, oh, I'm so envy of her relationship, her marriage. But it's just gonna, like, people are gonna love my relationship. People are just like, I'm gonna get everything that I wanted, y'all. I'm just gonna get everything that I want out of that person and out of the relationship. And maybe that's just it. People are just gonna be so happy for me. People are just gonna be so happy for me, and it's that I got that you know, I waited. It was a reason why I had to wait. It was a reason why I had to wait. It was a reason why I had to wait, because God is perfectly wrapping up this package for me. He getting it together. Whether it's a whole new package, or he fixing up the work in progress. I don't know. Either way, I'm talking messing now. Yeah, I feel like really that's what's been going on in love, career, the kids. I mean, if there's that's all I wrote down the notes, y'all. So I'm not, I don't know why I'm sitting here now, that I've been trying to make sure that I had everything. So if there's anything else that I have not told y'all, or we need to talk about, that y'all will get it in the vlogs. This vlog is going to be going up next Wednesday. Today is Friday. Yeah, today's 21st. So, we've got to get this up. Yeah, I need to get this edited over the weekend, so that by Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, because I know, right, I don't want to get caught up in like preparing for the holiday, and then like preparing for the holiday. Yeah, I don't want to get caught up in preparing for the holiday, and then the holiday then comes, and then I'm caught up in the holiday, and then, like, you know, boom, like, I need to try to do my best to get this jank out, which should be for the most part an easy edit. Maybe a couple of things just to clip down a little bit, but yes, y'all, I hope you guys enjoyed this chit chat, catching up with me. Stay tuned for the back-to-back vlogs, because we getting on into it, and we're not gonna be too crazy about whether I'm doing something, not doing something. That's what vlogging is. It's my day-to-day, necessarily what I want y'all to see. But okay, I'm rambling y'all. Bye.